The first, uh, I was thinking seriously of moving from where I'm living, but I don't think at this moment it's going to be possible. So what I've decided to do is something that might interest some of you. Uh, Something that might interest some of you. Although I know people live in Europe, they live in Israel, they live, in Brazil, they all over the United States, but I'm just throwing it out there. And that is on the 17th, 18th, and 19th of February, in honor of Rudy Samadhi, the day he really left here, became one with God. I'm going to have a retreat here in Stanford. And I'm breaking it up in two ways. If there are 8 or less people that come, I will do it in my apartment where I can fit 8 or less people. If more people come, if there's 12, 15, 20 people that attend, I'll rent a space somewhere in Stanford where we can accommodate that number of people. These retreats, as some of you know who have been to them, are very powerful. They're very transformative. And if you're interested, right now I have 7 people that have registered for the retreat that weekend. One more person registers, that takes care of my apartment, just in case nobody else registers. And along with that, I've decided that I used to travel literally around the world every month someplace else and do retreats. So what I've decided to do is that I will hold a retreat here in Stanford every month, and if 8 or less people attend, then I will do it in my apartment. If more people attend, depending upon how many more want to come, I will do it. I will find a place somewhere in the city to have it. But I plan on trying to do this every month. If people want to attend, you're very welcome. I know people live in Poland, they live in Belgium, and in Israel. I mean, it's expensive and it's a big trip. But I'm throwing it out there that I need this as my work, and I used to do this literally monthly somewhere in the United States or Europe or South America. And I can't travel like that anymore. I simply can't do it. I almost killed myself in 2019 traveling like that. But I will do it here. And if people want to come, you don't have to come to all of them, but you want to come to 1, 2, every 3 months, I'm going to try to make this available for people to, participate in. Again, these retreats are very powerful. They're very transformative. And if people can make it and do it, I suggest you get in touch with Jennifer. She handles all the logistics for this. And if you want to come in February, you can get in touch with me, and I'll have Jennifer get back to you with all the logistics. Anyway, I'm very excited about this. I never thought I'd ever live in my life in Stamford, Connecticut. But living here, I have to transform it into something very sacred and something very important in terms of this spiritual practice. Where I'll be in 2024, I don't know. Hopefully I will get into a position where I can start a center and, do something like that. So I just wanted to announce this to everybody. And again, I know people live in Germany, they live in Belgium, they live in Italy, they live all over the place, Poland, and et cetera, et cetera. But this is what is going to happen, and this is what I'm going to try to do. Does anyone else have a question? Or does anyone have a question they would like to ask? What I want to do is not an easy job. It's a very big job. hopefully I'll get the support of people that study, and we can do it. We can really, have these intensive weekends at least once a month, or if you come every 6 months, whenever you come, it'll be sometime in the middle of the month on a weekend. Does anyone have a question about that or about, yes, Isa? You have to, I don't hear you. Hang on, maybe I didn't.
Yeah, I got it. I got the unmute. Is it possible to follow the retreat via Zoom, or that's not the intention?
No, I don't want to
okay.
do that. I want
I understand.
In-person classes. They're really deep. Yeah. I do hands-on work with people. You have to understand what this is about. Every class consists of 3 classes. There's like on a Saturday and Sunday, there's 3 classes a day. Each class consists of a regular Kundalini meditation, eyes open like we have. Plus, I do hands-on healing work with everyone sitting in the room. And then afterwards, I talk and I answer questions and answers. It's a very powerful weekend, and it works because it's really in person. It's people being there, and I know, look, you live in Belgium, and that's a big trip. To get to the United States is expensive. But if you can afford to do it once, twice a year, then I guarantee you're going to get an enormous amount from making that kind of effort. Does anyone else have a question?
I have another question. You mentioned the last time that 24/7 you're in this state of connectedness. And could you call it being connected to unconditional love?
Yes.
Okay.
Look, I say it 1,000 times. This meditation is not a spiritual life. This meditation is the training to have a spiritual life. The spiritual life is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Being open, being balanced, being able to recognize the very sacred nature of everything that happens to you during the day is your teacher. That's a spiritual life. All I do is help people get training so they can begin to live that way. And I think that, what is it to be enlightened? Enlightened is not just you're sitting here and breathing heavy and staring at me, Enlightenment is when you eat, when you sleep, when you're at your job, whatever you do during the day, it becomes sacred. So that it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are living with God. When you're with your family, you recognize the sacred nature of your family. And the unconditional love for your family grows. Because in every way, good, bad, or indifferent, they are teaching you about yourself. And in order to grow spiritually, you've got to learn about yourself. I was just finished reading a very interesting book where throughout the entire book, he talks about everything in life, politics. It's all just a superficial reality. And the only real reality is plummeting the depths of oneself, and finding a connection with God. All the rest of it is just a superficial reality. It's just stuff that comes and goes. It's finite, it's transient, and it's just a lot of soap opera that people create because they're not having a spiritual life. They're not having an inner life. It's all bullshit,
That makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Business, he was talking about business being something we all have to do, but it's very superficial. It's not the kind of profound education, that success we have in really plummeting the depths of ourselves. Something we have to do. Caesar requires it, Karma requires that we learn how to do all these things and to do them unconditionally with love and, and not to, create gods out of money and all this other stuff, material things. So that whatever it is we do 24/7 is a reminder that our job here is to plummet the depths of our inner being so we can get closer to God. It's all our teacher. Life is the greatest teacher. My job is to get you strong enough so that you can embrace life. Not to be a guru and have lineage and, sannyasins and all this stuff. I'm really not interested. But to truly get people strong enough so that they can have 24/7 connection with it. They have built a chakra system that enables them to do this. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, the rough and tumble of life is really an amazing teacher. It certainly has taught me a great deal. And I don't hide from it. I stopped hiding from it 30, 40 years ago. I used to when I was a kid. I couldn't stand it. Then I realized, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to get strong? I got to learn to transform the rough and tumble, the things I like and don't like, into a spiritual life. 24 hours a day, all the time. By building a system that gives me balance. I mean, yesterday I had a student talking about, oh my God, the cold and the dark, and I'm hiding. And 3 weeks ago, they were talking about being never happier in their life and willing, and I said to her, your problem is you don't have balance in yourself. When things are great, you should be quiet and balanced. And when things are not going so well, you have to be quiet and balanced. And so you can deal with anything, Does anyone else have a question? Yes, Khalid.
Do you work with us by yourself, or do you work as a team with Ellie or with other people in the group?
Can you just speak up a little bit? Okay.
Yes. Do you work with other people in the group as a team, or you work by yourself with us?
Well, I work with groups of people, which is a team. And I try to train people to be able to do what I do.
Yes, but here in the group with us, here tonight.
During the group here, I work with each individual person. But there's a big but here. If everybody is working in great depth in themselves during this meditation, each and every person gets more energy, more Shakti, because what I'm doing is trying to open you so that you can receive the power of the energy of a group like this. Understand, when you sit and work on it by yourself, it is never the same. It never has the same depth and power. So the whole point is for everybody to open inside and to receive this Shakti, this energy. And that gives one a much deeper experience in the meditation. Having a group here is really important because it gives one a much deeper experience because there's so much energy from so many people that are sitting there and opening. So my job is to transmit Shakti to each and every person in this group. And the fact that all of us are open, more Shakti gets transmitted.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question? And that's why sitting still, being quiet, not moving, not fidgeting, It's a respect for oneself here, and it's also a respect for every other person that's sitting here. Because then one is not distracting from the flow of energy that is created in this situation. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions. So think about these retreats, and that I'm going to be doing in next year, 2020. If you're interested, you can get in touch with me, or you can get in touch with Jennifer. She will have the logistics of how all this is going to work. And one other thing, I've been announcing it, but I think on the 1st or 2nd of next month, I'm going to be on vacation until the 18th. And I need to take a vacation. I've been doing this for 2.5 years straight now, virtually straight, with 3 days here, a day there. And I need to just regenerate. I need to go away and absorb everything that has happened to me in the last 2.5 years of doing this. And when I come back, the classes are going to be that much stronger and that much deeper, because I'm going to take time to change my environment and do something I don't ordinarily do and absorb this energy, because it's been a very strong 2.5 years. So I'm going to be going away for a couple of weeks. And when I get back, the classes will resume. And I hope while I'm gone that all of you do your work. You can sit at home and do your work and have a picture of a teacher and do your work. Because I promise you, when I get back, the classes are going to be that much deeper. Just take time to absorb everything that's taken place in my life in the last 2.5 years. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, and just in fun, don't try to find out where I'm going to be, because I really want to just be without having, I just want to be. Okay, if there are no more questions, God bless you all. There'll be a meditation on Thursday evening or Thursday afternoon, wherever you are. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you.